training host. Okay, I see that. Okay. So welcome. I see that a lot of people here heard who we are and what we do, and you guys took the opportunity to maybe potentially change your life, right? Welcome, everybody. Clap on your back. All right. Yes. Yes. For everybody else, if you can turn on the video, please. It is a respect to our speakers who we have for tonight. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. First of all, our first speaker, she's based out in California. I know that she has a teaching background, and I know that her energy goes through the roof, and she's going to share to us about, so you know who we are, what we do, but now you want to know more about details. She's going to utilize a tool that is for everybody in this actually Zoom call, how you could utilize to maybe open and to prospect and to actually benefit towards your business here. So please welcome our Helena Conley. She is a senior field director. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Yes, I am over here in Southern California. It has some pretty nice weather right now, so very grateful for that and getting even warmer over the weekend. So welcome everybody. I'm so grateful anytime I get a chance to speak, especially to new folks that have decided to join us and work with us. So it's my understanding that everybody, like Lisa just said, has seen a basic who we are, what we do. We understand we got a huge opportunity in this company over the next couple years with us. And so what I want to do is I want to make sure you guys understand how it is that we do what we do. So the tool I'll definitely get to, but when you really feel what we do for people, for yourself, because I like to say, just like the pilots and the flight attendants say on the plane, right? Put the oxygen mask on you first. I want to make sure you understand how we help us, right? So when you get how we help us, then you'll understand how it relates to helping everybody in your life. And so this tool helps us to make things make sense. But I want to show you something. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. All right. So right here, again, like Lisa said, most of you guys have seen who we are and what we do, but I always like to start with how we do it. So these are the 4 steps that we use to help people create financial strength. And so what we're going to be doing over the next couple of years, what you're going to be doing in order for us to make this thing grow even larger, is we're going to be helping a lot of people. This is how we help people. All right. So everybody in their financial life is either in one of 3 phases or maybe a combination of them. And that is building their wealth, protecting their wealth, or preserving their wealth. Okay. And so depending on where you are, you need the entire roadmap to make sure you haven't missed anything, right, from the beginning, and making sure that you have all your gaps filled. And one thing I'm going to show you with the calculator in a little bit is that most of America has a financial gap. And we're able to help people to close that gap by using these steps and using this tool. And so most importantly, with this information that we share with people and help them plan with, is step number 1, number 4, okay? Setting financial goals. So most people have some financial dreams that they like. We want to have good retirement. We want to get out of debt. We want to buy some income property. We want to leave legacy behind. We want to have our kids, go to college without any debt. A lot of different things, right? But if you don't have a financial plan behind it, if you don't know the financial numbers behind making all of those goals come together, you will not be okay, right? You guys heard amazing things about living benefits during your opening presentations, how we help people with the proper protection. But now we'll get into what do we actually do with the folks. Hopefully all of that makes sense, but let's see what it means to put the oxygen mask on you first and how this tool helps us. And I will dip into a couple more or go back over a couple of the concepts. Okay. But here's the tool that Lisa Effie was referring to. And what it is a retirement calculator. I'm a numbers person, right? Lisa said I come from the education background. I taught high school and college math for 13 years. And one thing that I realized knowing everything about math, being a double math major also, is that personal finance is not something that we're taught. Definitely not at an early age. It's not institutionalized at most schools. So how are people supposed to be ready to go when they hit 18 years old, if they go to college, understand that the person that's trying to give them some credit cards is not really on their side? Where do we, get our information from? What do the parents know in order to help their kids be financially okay? This tool opened my eyes completely differently to what I really should have been paying attention to. So when I sat down in 2012 for the first time, I was 9 years into my education career. And no one had had a conversation with me about what planning I should do for my future. They set me up with a pension, which I was grateful. Not too many people have pensions anymore, but the school districts do. And then they also set me up with something that's called a 403B, because that's the supplemental plan that most educators use. If you're in corporate America, you might have a 401k. If you're in the federal government, you might have TSPs, things like that. But for me, once I saw this calculator, I realized that I had to do something different, which is actually why I joined the business. Okay. So I'm going to break down a few numbers with you. And what I want you to think about is your numbers in this scenario. Okay. And so what this calculator basically is telling us is, what is it that we need to have for our future in order to truly live the life that we want for ourselves? Just quick show of hands. How many of you guys know what your number is? Just show of hands. You know what your number is, how much you need to have saved in order to be financially okay. I don't see a lot of hands, right? So that means you're in the right place. And one thing I'll tell you, with my 13 years of experience in this business, most of America does not know either. Okay. When I came here 2012, the national debt, according to the US debt clock, was 16 trillion. It's now over 36 trillion. The average savings, very, very little. And you should go check that out on your own time, usdebtclock.org. So why I feel so confident being in this business is because I know what the majority of America has set up as their own personal financial situation. So let's jump into it. And feel free to unmute. Definitely want to hear a couple opinions on this. If you were to have the life that you want for yourself, right, financially right now in today's dollars, can anybody tell me what they will want per month? Maybe what you have, maybe a little bit more. Can anybody share with me? And I can't read the chat, so just unmute. How much per month would you guys want to live the life that you want to live?
6,000 a month.
6,000. Let's go there. 6,000. Okay. What I typically find in this business is that most single people will pick between about 5 and 7, and most married people somewhere about 7 to 10, right? Your number may be much bigger and may be much smaller, right? But 6,000 is a very good number because it, rolls in those averages. So 6,000, can I ask? I don't know who spoke, but actually not going to ask. I'm going to go ahead and leave 40 because it's there, right? I was so grateful that when
I'll tell you.
Okay, I can't see who you are.
58.
58. Okay. So I'm going to back it up a little bit. I'm going to back it up just a little bit so we have a lot more time in the growing part. But tell me your name, sweetie. I just see iPhone 2.
Valerie Davis, Chicago.
Valerie. Oh, hello, lady. I know you.
Hey.
All right. So I'm going to use 40 here. Okay. 40 years old. I was 31 when I started. 40 years old, the average retirement age, I know folks want to say 50 and 55 and 60, 65, but according to Social Security, full retirement is at the age of 67 and 7 months. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and round that up because I've seen a lot of PFCs, and I'm going to say 70. Okay. Sorry, wrong number. That stays at 40. Here we go, 70. So basically what I'm putting in here is that if you're 40 years old today and you want to make $6,000 a month per month, that's what you want to have to be comfortable, and you have another 30 years to work before retirement, okay, we're going to figure out how much we have to have saved. The next question that we need to utilize, and you guys, I use this calculator every single day. And by the way, because you guys are all new with us, you get this calculator for $4.95. You need to get onto the back office and you need to get it, because I started using it without a license from the very, very beginning because it just showed me so much. It made so much sense in my brain. So we'll leave, if you want to, right? This is a lot of people. I asked the question, how long does your family live? What's the age of your oldest family member? My family lives to hundreds and beyond, right? So at least I'm going to move it back a little bit to, let's say, 95 years old, right? Because I need the money to last. Why do I keep being on the wrong one? 70, move over to 95, okay? here's where it gets really good, you guys. The nation's inflation rate, probably you've seen that as well in Understanding Your Money Matters, is about 3.5%. Now that's an average, okay? If you would believe it, during COVID, it got up to 9.4%. 9.4, very highest I've seen it, right? So we're going to use the nation's average though. We're not going to go real crazy. And then I like to ask people, how much is your current retirement assets growing? This is why the personal financial checkup process that we do is very important, because very few people actually review their statements. But let's just say that your money is keeping up with inflation. Let's just say, all right? Anyone have a guess how much money a 40-year-old has to accumulate for 30 years in order to live comfortably for 25 years with a 3% inflation and their money keeping up with inflation? Any guess?
About 3.5 million.
4.459485 million. Okay. So for me, coming from the education background, when I saw these numbers, I said, well, that's not even a thought. My parents at that time, if I'm, 44, they're older than me, 74, 30, they were about 70, right? Or 60s, I mean, mid to late 60s. They didn't have $4.459 million. So I'm like, how am I supposed to do this? So it's a very big shocker for me. But the first thing that I learned with understanding compound interest as one of the tools that we focus on was that they could show me how to make my money make more money. That was the very first thing. So instead of a 3% return, what if I can average 7%? Because a lot of the vehicles that we're able to help put in place for people average between about 7 and 10, and that's a 20 and 30-year look back, okay? So if that's the case, my new number is 2.7. That's a lot closer.
A lot different,
Okay?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lot closer. So for me, it was important to start looking at those statements, pull them out, and be able to say, how much am I earning? Because if I'm earning 3%, I need to get that much. What if I'm earning negative? Because some of my money was in the market. I was going to be really, really short. That was going to be a number that just never, ever seemed like it was going to be able to work for me. So showing me how to make changes to what I was doing was first, and it was very important. Okay. But there's two numbers I want you to pay attention to here. And this is why I end up joining the business. And I'm sure most of you the same situation. Okay. I needed to either have 2.78 million in this scenario stored away by the time I turned 70, or I needed to have enough vehicles in place that would pay me a total of $14,000 a month. So one or the other, either a chunk of money where I can put it somewhere and it pays me that, or money in different places that are going to give me a total of about 14.5. When I did what's called a gap analysis, when I did my personal financial checkup with my pension, which was going to be taxed at what rate, who knows, with my 403B that was going to be taxed at what rate, who knows, okay, with a few stocks, which who knew if it was going to be up or down when I needed it, I had a gap from the number that I chose over here. I had a gap of about $5,000. Based on what my accounts that I was currently working with were going to give me. I had to do something different. Oh, and I didn't tell you. I came to this business because I got a $12,000 pay cut from LAUSD down here in good old Southern California. And that $12,000 pay cut came 3 months after I bought a house. So if you simply try to tell me, oh, you just need to save more, with what? With what? What was I going to save more with? I just took a pay cut. I went from a $900 a month rent to a $1,600 a month mortgage to losing $1,000 a month. Okay. So I had to really pay attention to what I needed to do differently. The first thing I did differently, okay, was I understood now the tax-free retirement. So I was able to reposition my 403B funds into a tax-free retirement vehicle, which I use the cash value life insurance to do. So that was an easy fix. At least I can make a change because I didn't have to worry about it costing me anything extra. Then I had to find out how much money am I going to need to save on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, on a quarterly basis, whatever it is, in order to achieve my goals. Okay? So it's another little nifty thing with this calculator. It's $4.95 calculator. Okay? Hopefully you have it downloaded by the end of the day. Go to this little more button. Okay? Remember my number. My number is 2.78. My little more button over here allows me to figure out how much I've got to save in order to get to my future value. Okay? In that scenario, I got 30 years to save it. An average return, I said, of about 7, right? If we're doing the low estimate of return, okay? They taught me about tax now, tax later, tax advantage. And of course, I want tax advantage because who doesn't want tax-free access to their money? So if I do after tax right here, it shows me that I need to be saving about $2,200 a month. And if I do that within those 30 years consistently, then I'm able to have the amount of money that I need to have saved. That was eye-opening for me. It was very, very eye-opening for me. So not only did I now have an actual goal in mind or a physical number in mind that I was working toward, I knew how short I was. I knew what I needed to do. And I got really, really, really focused in business with the gentleman who's going to come up after me, my very first mentor in this business, and went to work in order to do this same process with everybody else to help them figure out what their number was and then implement the plans accordingly. Okay? That was very, very important to me. So helping people implement the plans, now I want to see some faces, right? If we understand the 4 main things that we help people with, okay, and this is what's been in my brain since the beginning. Write it down. This is how I conceptualize what we do for people, okay? Most of you have all heard about living benefits, yes? So we help people get a check for up to $1 million if they ever get sick. That's the first thing we do. And there's a premium that people have to pay for that. That's how we get paid, okay? So that's one way that we get to help people and add to our $2,200 a month that we need to save. But we all agree everybody needs that kind of protection in place because at any moment, anybody can get diagnosed. That's the first thing. The second thing,
Elena, can you repeat that again, please?
absolutely.
Thank
We
you.
help people, no worries. Thank you for that. We help people get a check for $1 million if they ever get sick. That's one of the services that we do. And you guys, the reason I am in this business, the number one reason I am currently in this business is because of that. I believe 100% of people from the age of 15 days old, which is when they allow it to start, to as old as you are, to make sure you have living benefit protection in place. That's the first thing. Second thing, right, because I'm trying to make money for myself, right? We just happen to do really, really great things for people, right? So what was something that I said that I was able to drop my number from 4 million to 2 something? By doing what? Earning better interest. So the second thing we help people do is we help people outpace inflation by earning better interest. If my money's earning 3%, I need 4.7 million. If my money is earning 6%, 7%, I need 2.5. Which one should I be going for? Okay. Second thing we help people do. And when people put these plans in place that average these 7 to 10%, that's more money for me. Oxygen mask on me, but I happen to do the best things for people. Who doesn't want to earn more interest? Everybody. Okay. Third thing that we help people do, and this is the reason I started the business, tax-free access to your money. There is not one single person in this entire world, you guys, ever in all of my 13 and a half years in this business that I have asked if you want taxable or tax-free retirement, and they said taxable. Not one soul that I've ever asked since I've been in this business, do you want taxable or tax-free retirement? Everyone says tax-free. Now you guys just said 5,000 appointments for your trainers. Try it. Just try it. Go ask your brother, go ask your cousin, go ask your wife, go ask your husband, go ask your coworker. You want taxable or tax-free? They're going to tell you tax-free. The gentleman you're going to hear from next, he did right away 15 presentations about tax-free retirement. And we made money and we helped people set up their plans. Very easy concept, but that was me. That was my thing, okay? The fourth thing that we help people do, here's the question. If you can grow your money in the market, but never lose when the market goes down, would you be interested?
Yes.
100% of people say yes. There go another 100 appointments for you. That's it, that's all. So it became crystal clear to me what I had to do in order for me to change my personal financial situation. And I happened to fall in love with what we did for people. Because think about it, what did I say from the beginning? If you have financial goals, retiring, getting out of debt, paying for your kids' college, getting income, property, leaving legacy, all those different things, it has to have a number behind it. So you got to know what your number is. So that helps us do that. That's exactly how we are able to, and have been for my 13 and a half years in this business, get appointments in order to help people and then help ourselves. Are we taking questions, Lisa? Any questions, comments, issues, concerns? Anyone on any of that? I know I get real excited and be forgetting some stuff. Anything?
Yeah, I do have a quick question.
Go ahead, Philip.
Yes. So I know you did mention about all these four things that we do help, families with. So is it like all the four, you can do all the four for one person, or is it one at a time?
That's a very good question. Once the trainer helps you sit down and you do the personal financial checkup, you discover what can be dealt with in that particular family situation. So it might be one thing, it might be all four things. Okay. But the personal financial checkup allows us to really plan for our folks. I just want to throw a quick number out there. I think you guys saw it most of you guys at the presentation, but there's a number in this industry that's called persistency, which means when people put plans on the books, they keep them. Our persistency is close to the highest in the industry. And the reason is because of what we just did. We don't just sell you insurance policies, annuities. We make sure that there is a plan to why you have to get that policy. So it makes sense for your situation. The budget fits your situation. Everything is about your financial goals, which are dreams, because most people don't have any numbers behind it. And then we show you the path in order to achieve that. And I mean it when I say that calculator has made me millions of dollars, because it makes it very visual for people to see. Because just saying I want to retire, just saying I don't want to have any debt, just saying I want to be financially okay, what does that really mean? What does it really mean? So you got to be able to put some numbers behind it, and that calculator does that for us, okay? There's one more thing I want to show you on the calculator, and then I'll pass it back to our host, and my time will be done with you, okay? So that's just one piece of the amazing tool. I'm going to go over here now to the achieve your goal side, okay? So again, the gentleman who's coming up next, my very first trainer, did this same exact set of calculations with me 13 and a half years ago, and I use the same calculations to make it make sense to people why they have to pay attention to how they do their money. And it's so funny because I have to train folks all the time. I keep it right here. Right here, right? We got recorded trainings for about 35 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it is, to make sure you guys get good at it. So I said you got to download it tonight, right? In order to make it make sense to people what it is that we do. So let's think about this, okay? We're trying to achieve a goal. First, we defined our goal, which means what is our number? Now we're going to achieve it. So let's say on average, people can save $250 a month. Where does that number come from? Okay. If most of us think about it, we spend $10 a day, every day, that we have no account of, that we pay really no attention to. Okay. For me, it was Starbucks. When I did my personal financial checkup, y'all, and I realized I was spending $300+ on Starbucks, when I had a whole Keurig machine at home, I had all the different flavors of coffee, I had all the different flavors of creamer. Why am I giving Starbucks $350? It takes me out of my way on a way to work. It didn't make sense to me. Anyway, let's just say $250 is what folks can do. Let's say that they have 35 years in order to achieve their, financial dreams. Let's say they don't understand your money matters, okay? And so they do have a good relationship at the bank, so they can find 2%. I happen to have a brother and a sister-in-law who are branch managers, right? So we can find a good return for being a private client, right? And let's say here, we know we're going to have taxes on our money. So we're going to look at about 36%, which would be, let's federal and state together. Okay. And if I do what most people do, we start saving in the bank. That means we're going to pay taxes as earned, or maybe you do crypto, or maybe you do stocks, right? Things like that, right? Your 250 after 35 years is going to turn to $132,000. Which honestly will probably be the cost of, let's say, a Toyota Camry. And I'm not dissing a Toyota Camry, but I'm just saying based on inflation, that's what it's going to cost. Who want to live in their car in retirement? Nobody, right? So is that the best way to go? Probably not, okay? But let's go ahead and move on, because you sat down with us and you understand your money matters. So you at least know how to get better interest. We're going to go ahead and use 8%. We're going to do the average of our 6 to 10, okay? Now somebody taught you about the tax advantage, getting tax-free access to your money. So the same 250 is going to get you 577. I didn't do anything different but earn better interest, because you sat with us, we helped you plan differently, and we showed you how to get tax-free access to your money. Wow. Same 250, 132 to 577. However, most people who save for their future save in these middle accounts, the 401ks, the 403bs, all of those, you just lost almost $200,000, because you didn't understand how to properly diversify your taxes. So same 250, show of hands, put it in the chat. You want 132, 2, 369, or 3, 577. This calculator, you guys, does the work for us. Yes, I see you, Eileen and David. Yes, it does the work. It does the work. And how did I get someone to the table to talk to my trainer? Taxable or tax-free retirement. They go for what they want. Grow your money in the market, never lose. I mean, wow. One more thing. What if we show you how to make a little bit more money? So now you can save 500 instead of 250. Now you're looking at 1.1. That's getting closer to our number. But again, if you want to go and up your 401k contribution and put it in this category, now you're losing about $400,000. What could you do with an extra $400,000 under your rocking chair? What could you do? Exactly. So understanding your money matters, you guys, is important. And here's the very, very last thing. What if you tell me, Helena, you did an amazing presentation. I'll receive that. Thank you. But I'm going to go ahead and start next year. I got to take care of some things right now, but I'm going to start next year, and I got you. Okay. Your 1154, which would have been this number over here, but you say I'm going to wait till 1 year. Okay. 1 year means 500 times 12. So that means you didn't put in 6,000. Okay. That actually turns out to be what? How much is that? $100,000 less, because you told me I'm gonna wait till next year. That's what compound interest does, folks. That's what procrastination does. So when someone tells you, oh, go ahead and pay all your debt off before you start saving, does it make sense? You just lost out on $100,000 of compound interest because you waited 1 year. I have enjoyed speaking with you guys tonight. I cannot wait to see all of you guys at convention in 3 weeks, the week of my birthday. So bring me a gift, but don't do Starbucks. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing rest of your night. Thank you, Lisa. Back over to you.
Thank you, Helena. Is she a teacher or is she a teacher? She has amazing teaching ability and she's able to implement that in this company. So she's rocking it, as you guys could see, and she's a number person. And frankly, Helena, every time I hear your training, you need to sit down with my 2 kids. They suck at math. But
I'll tell you guys this. I did not even know my 12s until I came to this business because we get paid times 12. I didn't learn them by heart until this business. I can divide by 12. I can multiply it by 12 by heart. You wouldn't believe it. Double math major, but that's how we get paid. I needed to know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you again. By the way, so I do, when I do speak to everybody, I do ask, what is your number? And I use the same input. So my number is 3.8 mil. When I first did my, what if calculator. So guys, for those of you, you guys are in luck. I know Helena, she was emphasizing because you guys are not licensed yet. If you go into your portal, you could actually purchase that at $4.95. You take advantage of that, okay? For our next speaker, if you hadn't done already, take notes out. You need to take notes for this speaker, okay? He has about 30 years in this industry experience, right? And I know that he's one of the most big builder in this company. Like Helena says, she did her 15th field training with this person, right? And I know that he's, he has all the tools for you guys to use. So Helena explained what if calculator. Now you need to go out and talk to your people, but you don't just go out on your own. You must do what? The listing. And our Chris Sala, our field vice chair, he's going to explain to you, he's going to train you about how do we do the listing with our 25 list. Okay, guys, please welcome our Chris Sala, field vice chair.
Hey guys, how are you doing? I'll tell
Good.
you what, that was amazing, Helena. I was so motivated just watching you. That was really good. You know why I got excited about Helena, what she was talking about? Because even though I've been doing this for 30 years, you guys, what she just did is all that I do. My mentor used to call us, instead of being financial planners or financial advisors, all we really are, you guys, are calculator operators. Do you understand that? And if you try to make this more fancy than what Helena just did, you're going to lose the people. And I think that the average American person, they have never in their life written down their money. You guys agree with that? They've never in their life went to Google and, that what if calculator is not the only calculator you can get. I think it's the best because it's so simple. But most people out there have never gone in, and put any kind of plan or, logic or anything like that to their money. They have some goal that, and I'm going to talk about it today. What's the difference between a dream and a goal, right? But they just have mostly people have dreams. They don't really have goals. Do you guys know the difference between a dream and a goal? Dreams are just hopefullys. Hopefully this will happen. It's not really, mapped out at all,
Yes.
right, Philip? I mean, so I want to ask you guys, how many of you, first of all, yourselves have not done that, but then how many people do you guys know out there that haven't done that haven't really mapped out their goals? I would say, based on my experience, 99% of the people. It's unbelievable to me. They don't know what their numbers are, okay? So what if you could go around and just, in a very simple way, show people what their numbers are? Do you think people would listen? Do you think what Helena just showed you would kind of take, like shock people a little bit? You know, I'll tell you what, every census agent that comes into our company, once they see that, they're shocked. They thought they were going to be okay, and they realize, wow, I'm not going to be okay unless I do some things. Okay. So I am going to talk about, you know, how do we, you know, go out and identify the right people. But before I do that, I want to talk about one of the main, I would say the main product that we offer in Census. Can anybody, any of the new people that are here for the first time, you know, take a guess at what is the #1 product that we offer our clients? What would you guys think? Anybody want to chime in? Would you know, Philip, by chance?
I know one of the things that we do help in census is we help family with their financial goals.
Okay, that's part of it actually. That's actually
Mhm.
part of the answer I'm looking for. Anybody else have any ideas?
We help people with I like the idea of the living benefits.
Okay, yeah, well, that's one of the products, right, that we offer. So let me ask you guys this question. How
Financially
many of you
educated.
guys, how many of you guys agree with this? Do you think you should get more better interest rate than beats inflation? Meaning, you know, if your money's growing slower than the cost getting more expensive, are you making money or losing money? Aren't you losing money in that
Losing
So you're
example?
losing money, of course, yes.
Right. So do you guys agree that, I mean, you don't have to be a genius to agree with this. Do you guys agree that you should get a better rate of return than things getting more expensive? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody say yes, right? How about this? Do you agree that you should get your money when you go to retire, because every dollar we save and make is, you know, within taking consideration inflation, every dollar counts. Do you want to give 1/3 of your retirement to Uncle Sam, or do you want to keep that 1/3 for yourself, your hard-earned money?
I
Keep
need
it
to be able
all.
to keep it.
You want to
Uncle
keep
Sam,
it, right?
Uncle
As long
Sam
as it's
has enough
legal.
money.
I
Mhm.
need my
As long
money.
as it's legal, right?
Right.
That's
Yes.
right.
If it's
I
if
don't-
it's a tax law that we all have available to us and we don't take advantage of it, shame on us. Yes or no?
I don't
That's
like
right.
being taxed.
Yeah, was he Tyronza?
Tyronza. Uh-huh.
Tyronza. I like that name. So Tyronza says he doesn't like paying taxes. I don't like paying taxes either. I pay my fair share, but I pay way too much. I don't know about you guys, but I pay way too much in tax.
I saw this guy. He had a sign on front of his car. He said, "I was born free and I was taxed to death."
I'm gonna put that on my car.
I think it's true.
Okay. How
That's
about this, you
funny.
guys? How many of you guys want to save your money your whole life? I mean, you work your tail off and you just, you know, you put your kids through college, you pay, you know, you have emergencies here and there, your dog, you know, needs a veterinarian, it's $3,000. I mean, it's just one thing after another, right? And you get all the way up to say to when you're ready to retire. In 3 years before you retire, your 401k turns into a 201k.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You lose half your money in the stock
The
market.
devil? That's the devil.
Right? How many of you guys agree that that's not a good thing, right?
Of
No.
course, it's not a good thing.
Right? How many of you guys agree that, you know, if you're going to have life insurance, which most people do and some people don't, that if you can get this benefit, which I think Philip or someone just mentioned, they love living benefits. If you could get your living benefits added to your life insurance for free, FREE,
Mhm.
would that be better than not having your life insurance with living benefits?
Mhm.
Of course.
Most definitely.
I mean, I'm asking you guys questions that are just no brainers.
Mhm.
Of course.
Any person with a 2-digit IQ is going to agree, right?
That's right.
Okay. The last one, you guys. How many of you guys think people need to plan for rainy day? Isn't life throw curveballs? Yes or no? It's not a matter of when, it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
that's
don't want
right.
to put your emergency on your credit card, right? So you got to have money in the bank for when those rainy days happen, okay? So there's all those things that I just mentioned to you guys are not based on any product. Those are things called money principles. They're higher law principles. Okay? So I want to share with you guys a secret of our business. Right now, listen carefully, because this is nobody in our industry understands this. Only Census understands, and this is how we work. So I don't have to sell you guys or anybody anything, nothing. It's not for me, it's for you. Okay. Only thing I have to do, you guys, is, and this sounds like a cliche, but it's not. All I got to do is just educate you on money principles,
Mhm.
right? I got to teach you how money works. And none of these things are about any product, right? Then after I teach you about all these basic, simple money things, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask you, Philip, can I ask you a question? Do you agree with everything that I just said? And you're going to say, of course. And if you don't agree, you can Google it, because you can't dispute anything I'm saying. Okay. Once you agree with me, Philip, then I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to say, is all the money that you're spending, saving, making, all the money that you're dealing with in your life, is it lined up with these money principles that I just taught you? These things that are true. And you're going to say, most of our clients, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know if they are. They can't answer me, actually,
Yeah.
usually. And if they say yes, they're just, saving face. They're just prideful, right? Because I guarantee you, they don't teach what I just told you in school. There's
That's
nobody
true.
out there teaching what we teach. You tell me where to find it. You can. Okay. And so once I say, is your money lined up with these things that we just both agreed on, and you say either no or I don't know, then what's the next thing? We need to do what's called a personal financial
Sure.
checkup. It's like
Sure.
going to the doctor, right? So listen, what is our biggest product? This goes back to my original question. Our biggest product, you guys, our only biggest product is our PFC, our personal financial checkup. It's getting people to be willing to sit down and open up their money and see if what they're doing or not doing is in alignment with these financial principles that we teach. Once they see it, they write down their money and they realize, oh crap, I've had my money in the bank for the last 10 years. I haven't touched it, and it's only averaged 2%. And I
Less
show them
than
that
that.
calculator, they go, oh my goodness. So doesn't it make sense that we redirect that money that's been in the bank that you haven't used into a higher interest bearing account? If it's equally as safe, you can't lose it, but you get more interest. That's a no-brainer for people. So did I have to sell them or convince them? No, I just showed them how it works. And then at the end of the day, they're going to make up their own decision. They have their own conclusion. And most, rational, normal people are going to say, yeah, that makes sense. Why would I keep my money only earning 2% if I could get 8% and it's still equally as safe? That just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, what do I need to do to change that? That's it. Right? Oh, my insurance. Yeah, I've had this insurance. It's good that I have it, but if I got cancer, it doesn't pay anything. Well, why don't you switch it to something it's the same premium, maybe even less, for the same coverage if you die, but now if you get sick, you get cancer, heart attack, stroke, there's a list of critical illnesses. You could get up to $1 million to help you get through that. If that's available, why wouldn't you want that added on to your insurance if it's free? What do you think the people are going to say? Yeah, right? Now,
I didn't know that existed. There you go.
every once in a while, people say, "Oh, I don't need it. I'm good." Well, okay, keep you stay with what you have. That's perfect for you. Okay, but I just can't understand that. So by the way, we don't charge anybody anything to do business with us. It's free.
All
It's
right.
pretty cool too, right? And I'm going to get into that later. But so guys, our biggest product is our PFC. Now,
PFC.
that's right. So let me show you guys. Only got a limited amount of time here, but I want to share with you what is our PFC, kind of. Let me see right here. You guys see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, this is a census PFC. This is our number one thing that nobody does. You know, they mostly go in and sell a product. We don't do that. You know, that the client actually tells us what products make the most sense to them because we empower them to know about their own money. So it's a process used to identify people's financial needs and goals and help families make more informed decision about their finances. PFCs don't cost anything. There's no obligation, blah, 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 right? During a PFC, we meet with the individual. We explain the fundamental financial principles. That's what I just said, right? And then we put together a summary of their overall financial health by listening to you about your current situation, your goals for the future. A lot of times, guys, we help people make a goal. They don't even know how to make a goal. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So we teach them about goals versus dreams. We show them how to set up a proper plan, how to do proper savings, reality. Yeah, a lot of times it's just a reality check. They're like, whoa, I had no idea. You know, when I leave their home, their heads are spinning, you know. Money management, you know, it's a lot easier said than done, right? People say, you know, you don't spend more than what you make. Well, that's not that easy because every time we make more money, we what? We spend more.
Spend more money.
Spend it.
And we're good at making money and we're good at spending it too, but we need to get better at what? Saving it, investing it, right? We want to make an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. That's a no-brainer. You want to do a financial health check, you know, diversify. You know, I meet with clients all the time and I ask them, what's your number one objective with your retirement? They go, safety. I don't want to lose my money. And I say, well, do you realize that 100% of your money in your retirement is at risk in the market, in the risk market? They're like, oh, I didn't realize that. So their primary objective is not in alignment with what they're actually doing. That's a simple thing, right? We check the status of their progress. You know, we do annual reviews. You know, I have clients for 20 years and I meet with them all the time. Their finances change all the time and I get more business from them, right? A goal versus a dream. It has to be a specific, measurable, achievable. There's a difference between a
Achievable.
goal versus a dream, okay? This is so powerful, you guys. Specific, measurable, achievable,
Achievable.
relevant, right? Time. It has to be a time frame. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, by when? Well, at least by the age 100. Well, if that's the case, anybody can do that, right? So it's got to have a time frame. So this is really, really good. You know, does the protection that you have cover your basic financial needs? These are a lot of the basic questions. Do you know how even your life insurance works? They think they do, but they don't. You know, have you saved enough for your future? Well, I don't know. Well, would you like to know? At what age do you want to retire? I don't know, 60. Now I have people say, I'm 50 and I want to retire at 55. I go, great. How much how much do you make now? 10,000 a month. How much do you need at retirement? At least 10,000. How much do you have saved? Nothing. Well, that's unrealistic, isn't it? How are you going to retire in 5 years if that's what you need? So people don't know. You know, I've heard people say, the lottery is my retirement. I mean, literally, they say that. You know, are you utilizing compounding interest or simple interest? You know, we didn't even talk about that. If anything were to happen to you tomorrow, will you be okay? You know, if you got sick, what's your plan to hit your goals? You know, there's so many great questions that we can ask people. You know, this is our tax planning. You know, and I'm not going to get into all this today. This is pretty, you know, I could spend an hour just on this slide here. But the bottom line is, do you want to pay taxes as you go? That's the pay as you go system. Do you want to pay taxes at the end after you've accumulated all your money? Or do you want to not have to pay taxes on any of it? You know, to me, that's a simple answer. You know, and people, you know, they have all their money in their 401k. Well, that's the second box here. That's not the third box. So we got to help people diversify their tax status on their money. Okay, so that's our PFC, guys. Now, what do you guys think of that? Is that pretty unique? It's good, right? That's why I love what I do, because every time I sit down with somebody, I impact them. I totally, have a major positive influence in their life. All right. Now, you guys understand why people need that? Why do people need PFC? You guys get it? Then the next question is, why do you need the PFC? Right? And I'm talking everybody on this call, whether you're a brand new person that just came in, came to uh, our big meeting that we did out on the East Coast a few weeks ago, or you've been with Census for a long time. Doesn't matter. Every single person that is looking at getting into this business should do a PFC on themselves, right? Let's say this way, you should have one done on you. You can't really do it on yourself. That'd be like doing eye surgery on yourself. You can't do that, okay? Wouldn't work out very easily. You need a professional that has experience like Helena, Lisa Kim, one of these, very experienced people to sit down with you and do this properly, okay? And let me tell you why you need it. You need it, okay? Now, you guys, you can disagree with me, okay? But I've been doing this a long time. One is you need it for your own benefit. I hope you guys would agree with everything that I said tonight is super, super important, right? For your financial future. But number two, you need it because how in the world, you tell me, how in the world are you all going to go out and share this incredible information with people if you haven't even done your own PFC? Now, did I say you should buy a product or no, I didn't say that. That's going to naturally, come about if it's suitable, if it's something that you need, right? But at least everyone needs to have gone through their own reality check, their own personal financial checkup, so that when you're out marketing our number one product to people, then they're going to ask you, have you done it? What do you think? Do you agree that people are going to ask that? They are. And if you say, well, I'm thinking about it, or yeah, this is something I've been meaning to do, you're going to lose credibility instantly. They're going to think, well, then what are you trying to get out of me? What are you trying to sell me? If this isn't something you believe in and you've actually done, how are you going to, what are you trying to get out of me? And that's how people are going to react. So, if you're thinking about, getting into this business, then I highly suggest that you do your own PFC. You have somebody that, do that for you. It's a life-changing experience. And, Helena, I was there when we did her PFC when she first came in. And everything that she told you guys today is true. I remember when they lowered her income $1,000 a month. And, for me, $1,000 a month less is not a big deal. But, for someone on a fixed income as a school teacher, that is a lot of money. That had a major impact on her. And I remember that was the major catalyst that made her quit being a teacher, even though she loved it, and coming and working with our company full time. Right. And since then, Helena has made, like she said, millions of dollars. She's a multiple six-figure earner in our company. Right. So, and that's a great thing. I got to see that totally evolve from her being a baby agent to now she's one of our best. She's the top of the top. Okay. So I'm going to shift gears with you guys and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, who needs this? Now, first of all, you need it. We talked about that. But then after you have it and you understand it, who else needs it? Okay. I would say every single American out there, every person that lives in America needs this. Okay. And that's what's great about our industry, you guys. It's not, if you're a real estate agent, real estate business is a good business, but do you think everybody qualifies or everybody is in need to either buy or sell a home right now? Especially with the interest rate environment where it is? It isn't. But did you know our industry doesn't ever get affected by any of that? And every single person that lives in this country needs what we have, not wants, but they need it. And they also qualify. Everybody needs to save money. Everybody needs to get a better interest rate. Everybody needs to save money on taxes. So it's literally every person here that needs this information. Okay. So one of the things that we do, which is really cool, we've got this thing, I'm going to share it real quick with you. It's called a memory jogger. Okay. Okay. And it's this one here. I don't know if you guys can read that. That might be kind of small, but this is a, let me open it up so you guys can see. This is just some, and there's so many more people that you guys know other than this, but this could be a start of, you're wondering who would I talk to regarding this? Well, everybody in your family, if you really love and care about them, who else? Everybody at your church, anybody that's a leader. I mean, this is just such a powerful marketing tool that we have. We give this is on your agent portal once you start working with us. Anybody you play golf with, if you work I have a bunch of nurses that I work with. I actually have a librarian that I work with. Koreans love they own dry cleaning businesses. We have a lot of Korean agents that have come from the dry cleaning business. We've got hotel owners. Just so many different people. I've got two different car salespeople that work with me now. These are people that are become agents, but then every single one of those people also need our products as well. Okay. So one of the things that we do to make it easier for our agents to work, I call it work smarter instead of harder. See if I can advance this, is we have this thing called a 9-pointer system. Okay. And this is the characteristics of people that, typically do better in our business, or people typically make better clients. It kind of works synonymously, meaning, we're always looking for new business partners, and we're also looking for new clients at the same time. So all these 9 characteristics of people apply in both scenarios. It's usually better to have people that are older than 25 years. Now, that doesn't mean we won't give a 20-year-old a chance, but historically, or based on my experience, people that are 20, they don't really have focus yet to start a business. They don't have a lot of money to start saving usually. Their friends are, they're all living at home, and they're all having fun. Usually they're not really that focused. Now, every once in a while we'll find a special person that is way more mature than their age, and that's all their friends are in their 30s with families and things like that. So that's a good person to work with. Or maybe they have a good job and they want to save a lot of money. That's okay. Number 2 are married people. We love working with married people, and married people also make great clients. And the reason why is because, when you're married, it's not just you anymore. You have a future to think about. And, usually in the business, people that are married, their spouse supporting them is way, makes them more successful than if they're just working by themselves. Number 3 is, people with children, dependent children is always a good client, because one of our main products is life insurance. And if you have dependent children, then you have to have some type of protection. In case, God forbid, something happens to you, you want to make sure your kids are going to be okay. Right. Also in the business, if I'm working, in this business and I have little children, I don't know about you guys, but when I started in Census, it was interesting. It was the same year my daughter was born. And I'll tell you what, I had never worked the way that I started working in Census. It was a blessing, actually, that she was born the same year that I started, because that completely changed my mentality and my mindset. If it was just me, but without my daughter, I probably wouldn't have worked as hard. I probably wouldn't have been that serious about the business than it, like I was, because I also had a baby that I had to, take care of. And, that was a life-changing thing. I remember buying my life insurance. I mean, I had insurance when I had my child, but I like bought 5 times more than I had before I had my child. So that's a very important part. People that own a home, that's a liability you need to protect. That's another bill that you have to pay. So, you know, people will work harder if they have a home. Obviously, we're looking for people with stable income. You know, if you don't have stable income, it's going to be hard to save money for your retirement. It's going to also be hard to get into a business that you have to, you know, do some things before you can start making money. You know, if they don't have stable income, they're in a kind of a very you know, a situation that's, you know, kind of like an emergency, I guess, right? Number 6, obviously, we want ambitious people working with us. We don't want lazy people. And hey, if you're lazy, that's okay. But, you know, in business, you can't be lazy to be successful. But also, I like to have ambitious clients. I like clients that, you know, are always looking to improve their financial situation. You know, if they just are content with where they are, they're probably not going to make a very good client. Number 7 is very important. You know, people that are dissatisfied are motivated. They're motivated to change. So if they're dissatisfied with their career, they should come work with us. If they're dissatisfied with their financial situation, you know, they should become our client. You know, so that dissatisfaction is super important. Number 8, I love this one. You know, we want to work with people that are coachable, humble. You know, PMA, what does that stand for? It stands for positive mental attitude. You know, I love working with humble, nice, positive people. Nobody wants a naysayer, you know, a negative person. Nobody likes to hang out with negativity, right? And then number 9, our business owner mentality. You know, business owners, guys, by the way, make some of the best clients because as a business owner, you don't get a 401k like you do at your job. You know, business owners are always on their own when it comes to their retirement, and they're really good at their business, but they have no idea about, you know, saving for their future. Business owners make good business teammates or, you know, business partners, because they already have a business mentality. You know, we don't have to change them from an employee mentality to a business owner mentality. So these are just some of the, you know, the characteristics of people that we're looking for, that you should also be looking for when you know, are working in this business. Okay. Let me, hold on a second here. Oops. All right. So, you know, those are, I guess that's, you know, some of the tips that you guys can use when you're coming in, because you're thinking, you know, who would I share this with? It's really everybody. You know, now you definitely want to use our 9-pointer system to make sure that, you know, you're focusing on people that are more suitable to work with us or be clients with us than people that are not. But it really, anybody can do this, I think. All right. So I'm gonna that's the first session that I have today. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back over to Lisa before we get into the next one.
Thank you, Chris. So, for those who think you don't know anybody, just go back to your memory jogger and this is the question that I always ask to everyone that I meet who says, I don't know anybody, is this: do you work? Some say yes, some say no. Did you go to school? Most of you say yes, right? Do you live at a home or apartment or anywhere else? Yes, you do, right? So if you did all 3 or at least one of these 3s, if you went to school, guess what? You guys know you had teachers, right? You didn't teach yourself, right? You knew you had your classmates, right? When you go to work, you have co-workers. If you live at home, you have neighbors, right? So what Mr. Krasala says, you know what? Who needs it? Everybody that you know, okay? Thank you again for giving us the 9-pointers and we are what we do. Next session that he's going to follow up is, so we know who we are, what we do, right? Now, how can we make money in this company, right? How can we make money in this industry? That's why you guys are here, right? You guys came in here to make money. So person who made, I believe, multi-million dollars, pretty sure, right? He's going to give us, he's going to teach us, he's going to show us, right, how you could get started. Okay, I'm gonna shift back over to you, Chris.
Okay. You know, I remember I asked you guys why you should do your PFC, and it's to improve your financial situation. But you know, another reason why it's important to do the PFC, which is really what Helena was talking about. You know, if you know, you're like, I'm saving all the money I can save, there's no more money left, you know, and I have this certain amount of money as a gap that I need to save in order to hit my goals. How are you going to do that? Are we going to go get another job somewhere? I mean, how much can you actually make, you know, working part-time more than your full-time job? You know, it's not very doable, in my opinion. Once you understand our industry and how we get compensated, you really get to see how attainable and how doable, you know, maybe your gap of savings that you need to achieve your retirement goal can be. You know, she mentioned, you know, $2,200 a month is the savings goal to have $2.7 million and 14,500 a month in retirement. You know, some of you think, you know, 2,000 a month, that's 25,000 extra, 30,000 extra a year. There's just no way, you know, but in this industry, once I kind of show you guys how we make money, that is something that's completely doable. Guys, that's literally like one, maybe two transactions in a month. Remember I said earlier, we get compensated like real estate, but we don't have to work as hard as real estate. Well, you know, that once you see that, you're like, wow, you know, I can really, you know, it becomes doable. If your goal is not attainable, remember that SMART thing that I showed you guys, the A is attainable or achievable. Do you think that if people's goals are not achievable, they're going to work hard for that? They're not. People won't work hard if they can't really see themselves achieving that. Whereas if you can see something that's totally attainable, you all of a sudden become more willing to work at that. Okay. So I want to show you guys today, how is that attainable in our industry? Okay. By the way, if you Google us or Google our industry, not us, but our industry, and you say, you know, what industry has created the most millionaires? It's going to come up financial services, which is what we do. You know, my mentor used to tell me all the time, you know, Chris, if you want to make money, you got to go where the money is. Where's that? The money business, right? So that's the money business that we're in. Okay. I remember my first transaction, I couldn't believe, you know, I spent 2 hours with my clients and, you know, I made like $2,500. I was like, wow, you know, I was pinching myself going, there's no way that they're going to actually pay me that amount of commission for that little bit of work that I did. But sure enough, they did. And I've never looked back. You know, it was just, that was a game changer for me. I was 25 years old. I'll never forget it, just like it was yesterday. Okay. So let me kind of go through some of these numbers with you guys. And I don't mean to get too logical with you, but I think when we're talking numbers, that's just naturally a logical thing. Are you guys okay with that? You know, I can just tell you what it is. We don't have to get all hyped up about it. Hold on, let me pull this up here. Okay, can you guys see this okay? Let's see. All right. So you guys remember we talked about this at the meeting the other day, and maybe you guys couldn't see this on from where you're sitting in the audience. So I'm going to review this again with you. Okay. So normally when we have a new person coming into our company, the way our system is designed is they don't start off here at associate. Here, let me see if I can. Here. So we don't start them off at an associate typically. They usually are going to start off as a senior associate, which is at a 50% contract. Okay, so that means that there's a transaction and there's $10,000 of commission, you know, altogether, then that agent would receive 50% of that, which is, you know, $5,000. It's not bad. Okay. And then, you know, the first level of management where you can start to build your own agency is called field director. And that's a very, it's a middle position. It's not the lowest, it's not the highest. It's kind of right in the middle. It's very attainable. And your contract level is 75% of, say, that $10,000. Okay. So that's a lot big, people say that's a 25% increase, from 50 to 75. It's actually a lot more than 25%. It's literally, like a 50% increase, right? It's not only 25, it's 50% more cash flow. Okay. So when you're in our industry, there's two types of money. Okay. There's monthly money and there's lump sum money. And this is really the basics of all it is. Monthly money is just, I don't have $100,000 in my 401k, but I know I need to save $500 a month, or maybe I'm already saving $500 a month in my 401k, and I'm not getting matched, and it's taxable and it's at risk in the market. So, I can redirect that 500 into a plan that's, tax free. It's not at risk in the market. I own it. I get to control it. A lot of times people are already saving that money. They just are saving it in the wrong place. So monthly money is where people, save on a systematic investment plan where they're saving every month. Number two is lump sum money. That would be, I worked at, the post office for 10 years, and I saved $100,000 in my thrift savings plan, and I quit them and I moved to another company, and I still have $100,000 over there, and I need to move that into an IRA, and that has a better, better investment choices. It's just better off altogether. So that would be like a rollover or some other kind of, people, maybe they've got money sitting in the bank and it's not earning enough interest, so they want to reposition that money to do better for them. That would be a lump sum type scenario. So those are really the only two types of money that we're dealing with when it comes to, how we get compensated. All right. So what I'm going to talk about first is our monthly account. Remember what Helena said, I know my 12s, because everything we do, it's multiplied by 12. It's amazing. So if you have an average client that can save, 500 a month, that 500 a month is multiplied by 12 months, 1 year, it's annualized, and that's $6,000. Now, if you're at a 75% contract level, right, that's a basic, field director, management level, then your commission and you're paid in your bank account is $4,500. Now you have to remember this took you maybe 2 hours to do from A to Z. So you show me a job out there, even doctors, dentists, surgeons, attorneys that make $2,250 an hour. Not very many professions that pay that much money. Okay. When I saw that, I didn't believe it until I actually experienced it. Okay. Now, what happens if, I'm out, let's say I do, two transactions in a month. What is that? 12,000. And if I multiply that times 75, that's $9,000 per month. That's a 6-figure income just by doing 2 transactions per month as a field director. I always tell my agents, if you're not making 6 figures in this industry, something's wrong. It's a lot easier to make 6 figures than it is not to make 6 figures, right? And a lot of you might say, well, I already make 6 figures at my job. Okay, how many years did it take you to get to that point? In this industry, in your first year, it's totally doable. All right. Now, what happens if you're a manager and you say, look, I want to build an agency. I want to help others, become successful in this business. How does that work? Well, let's say, I've got this, it's called a spread commission. We talked about that in our training the other day. And let's say, I've got a field director at 75%, and I have an associate, and we need to change these numbers because they raised this from 30% to 40%. But let's say that, you've got a 40% agent, a 50% agent, and another 50% agent. So you've got 3 agents that you're working with, and each one of them do 1 case per month. All right. And you do 1 case per month by yourself. So you as a field director, you're getting, 6,000 times 75. That's your 4,500 for you that you personally produced. Your associate is going to be 35%, not 45. Can someone do the math for that? I don't know what that is, but it'd be 35% of 6,000 because this associate is now 40%. I'm going to change that. And then based on your two senior associates, that's a 25% difference between their 50 and your 75. So that's $1,500 per associate or senior associate. So if you add all that up, it's right around $10,000 a month. Okay, that's you doing one, and you have 3 people on your team that you've helped become, fairly successful at this business. Most of them, including you, usually at this level of production is part-time. You're not even working full-time, honestly. And look, $10,000 a month, roughly. It might be a little bit less because we adjusted this other number, but that's a very, pretty close to what it would be. All right. So that's just a simple thing. This type of structure is in real estate, mortgages, property casualty. There's a lot of different industries that have this type of, spread compensation system. Now, what they don't have is an agency building compensation system, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. This is if, you decide to, not only just have people that are part-time working with you, but maybe some of those part-timers want to open their own office and become their own manager, right? So they're all at 75%, right? And then you, because you have those managers, you're at a senior management level, which we call a senior field director. You have 80%. So on average, our a field director base or a field director team will do about $30,000 in production in a month. That's our average. Somebody like Lisa Kim, somebody like, Helena's not a field director, but her field director base probably does about that. Okay. So what you get on this is you get, if you remember, we have these, these generational overrides here. So if we just take the first generation, which is 8, there's going to be an 8% commission made from this 30,000 plus the difference between this 75 and this 80, that's 5%. So if you take 8 plus 5, that's 13, right? So 30,000 times 13 is 3,900. So each one of these teams that you've, helped develop and train and create, you're getting $3,900 per month for each one, which is 11,700. Okay. Now, how much money do you need saved in a bank account somewhere to get $11,700 per month in income? Do you guys know what that number is? Well, if you have $2 million saved earning 5%, how much is that? That's $100,000 a year. So that's about $8,600 a month. So you're probably going to need about $2.5 to $2.8 million saved in a bank account somewhere, earning 5% to get this $11,700 per month passive income. Okay. So it might take you your whole life to get that. This picture that I just showed you is a very basic agency building structure. What if it took you 5 years? You're one of the slowest agents in all of our company. It took you 5 years to build this picture. That's a lot faster than taking your whole life. If you even ever were able to save that much money in your whole life to be able to create this picture. So this is, guys, when I looked at census, 15 years ago or so, this is what I saw myself, my end result. I'm like, I don't want to, be 70, 80 years old working in this business. I want to create an agency where at some point in time, I don't have to work as hard, and I can slow down and do the things that I want to do. Right. And, I've been very blessed in census. I've been able to create this picture, but, probably 10 times bigger than this. Okay. And so it's very, very doable, guys. I call it the 5-year retirement plan. In addition to your retirement products that you're putting money in every month to retire in 20 or 30 years, this could be a 5-year retirement exit strategy. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's talk about, remember I talked about, this lump sum money. It's the same concept. All right. So on average, when we have, our average lump sum transaction is 100,000, that's a very common amount. And so what happens is the insurance company will pay a 6% roughly. Sometimes it's more. It's on average about 6% of the $100,000. Now that doesn't come out of our client's money, by the way. It comes out of the profits of the insurance company. So if you roll over somebody's 401k into an IRA with us, and your compensation is about $6,000. So all you would do is take that same $6,000 total transaction amount and just apply it to the same percentages. It's the same, the same spreads and the same override commissions you get, regardless if it's a lump sum amount or if it's a monthly amount. So we're just using the same $6,000 per transaction number. All right. So when these numbers are just, they're totally doable. They are what they are. You come work with us, we'll show you where they derive all these numbers from. And, we're not exaggerating or being, overly, grandiose about this. It's pretty common, pretty average stuff. And so again, we're in the highest paid profession in America. To me, this is the best business you could ever do. There's no, I don't have to buy any inventory. I don't have to, I don't have employees. I don't pay into Social Security tax for my employees. I don't have payroll. None of that, you guys. It's the most low maintenance business for this kind of income that I can ever imagine. I don't have to go to school for 10 years to make this kind of money. To be a doctor, a dentist, an attorney, right? I just need a license, a life insurance license, believe it or not. And then I need a team of people to help me create this. So you have all that here at Census, guys. I don't want you to think too much about it. It is what it is. And there's not just me, but, thousands and thousands of people in our company that have become successful using this system. So I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. I think I went over my time a little bit, but I hope it was worth it for you guys. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Christella. If you could maybe stop on share for a second. So guys, so I do want to give a short little bit of wrap up, and I do have about 5-minute session that I want to give out to you. So what Helena SFD, she did was the what if calculator, right? Do you want taxable money or that tax-free money? That is included in our marketing tool, which is Understanding Your Money Matters, right? We call it UYMM, right? So in order to do that, and in order for you to duplicate your trainer, right? What did Helena say? She did 15 field training with Christella, right? So with that tool and with the listings, Christella did with all the 9 pointers, right? With it, you have to do 15 field training. But while this is happening, guess what? You're going to find, right, potential partners who wants to come into this business, right? So with it, you're able to potentially have a partners who wants to do business with you, run the business with you. Secondly, you're able to do what your trainer does, right? This is a duplicating company. It's not like you're going to be trainee forever. You're not going to be the student forever. Like Christella said, he remembers when he first did it with Helena, right? Now he's so proud that how she, does her presentation, right? The whole system is duplicatable. Does that make sense? So the question that I do need to ask, do you need to have license to do that? No. Okay. To be on the field training, to actually go out on the field, right? Guess what? Who has driver license? Show of hands. All right. I believe most of you have driver license, right? Now, in order for us to actually drive, first you need to do what? The written test. Then you have to what? Have a driving test, right? Because you cannot just get your license and be on a highway. right? You have to be on the, on the track with maybe your parents or, supervisor or somebody, making sure that you're doing the right thing with the vehicle in your hands. Same thing, equal field training with driving test. Does that make sense? Okay. Second of all, Mr. Chris Sala pointed out all these 9 pointers, right? But guess what? This is a people business. It is a people business. So if you're telling me that I don't know anybody or I don't like people, all you have to do is change that mentality. I do like people. I want to know more people, right? It's a very small transition to I do not like to I like, right? It's not so hard. Does that make sense? And the compensation that he lastly pointed out, I love the compensation, by the way. So he showed the personal income. And the second slide he showed with the team. Okay, you have to understand that our company actually made that for you to utilize as a marketing tool for you to run your business, right? In order to become a field director, we call it small agency, right? That's why the company giving us that, the gap and the generation override for you to utilize for your business. Does that make sense? Okay, now, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know if Mr. Crisella pointed out, it does not take too long for you to start the business and become a field director, right? If you really focus for 90 days, it is so doable, right? And I've seen it happen to many people, right? So it is something that we have a system where you could duplicate it. And as long as you do what you're asked to do, that you are able to become the general manager, a small, agency owner, right, within the 90 days. Now, we do need to get licensed. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen a little bit. Give me 1 second. All right. Bear with me. I do see Brian and Esther. Thumbs up if you could see my screen. Okay. When is this done? Licensing steps are done at a nighttime. This is not something that you need a day to do so. During the day, you need to be out on the field. You need to be working. This is something that you need to do at home before nighttime, right? We work during the daytime and we work for our license at the nighttime. All of you should have your own portals, yes? Okay, so as soon as you have registered in within our company, you will be receiving an SE code, which you guys should be at least going in at least every 3 days. Why? Is because this is when the company posts all the news, updates, events, and everything else, okay? I can't see everybody. I just see 2 people here, but I really hope who have checked this quick start out, right? I hope everyone has at least clicked on the quick start. And this is only for non-licensed holders. It is not for the people who already is licensed, okay? If you go in, okay, you're going to have all these, if you see all these icons, right? Now, I know it doesn't show it here, but right above this, you're going to have what if calculator too. Remember what Helena said, you need to buy that device, okay? And utilize that on your opening to when you're talking to people. It's a very easy tool, okay? Now, you want to go into the Exam FX pre-licensing discount course because the company loves you, we're going to give you a huge discount on that. You need to get a pre-licensing up to actual testing. I believe it is $49.95. I could be wrong, but I believe it's $49.95, where you could actually go in and register depending on which stage you guys are in. Okay.
It is, Lisa, it is actually $43.95.
Oh, it went down $43.95.
Yeah, that's what I paid, and I was very happy. Thank you.
Well, you know what? We dropped $6.
It's-
Every dollar
it's-
cent, every
it's
dollar
$6.
help.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
dollars. Thank you.
Jenny, right? I don't see you, but I believe your voice is Jenny.
Yes, this is me.
Okay, so $43.95, better, right? So what you guys need to do, you need to click on it, you need to register, and it's going to give you all the guidance of what you have to do and what you should do to have you prepare for the actual test. Okay. Now, these are the steps that you should be, looking into. Okay. Number one, you need to check your state requirements, because Jenny is in New Jersey. I'm sure Brian is in New York, and I saw somebody from California, some from Virginia. We're all from different states. So you need to go to the Department of Insurance website, right, to make sure that you have all the qualification and go into their details, right? Step number 2, it is a pre-licensing. The Exam FX, that's going to give you all the studying and the guidance to get to step number 2. You can do step number 5, but I know that step number 5, I believe it was Florida. Florida does not require to get fingerprinted, but where I am in New York, and I'm pretty sure in New Jersey, you do need to get fingerprinted. So that's why you need to go into the Department of Insurance to make sure all the requirements are done and what you need to do. Okay. Once you pass the pre-licensing, you need to go into your state, right? It could be in a facility, or it could be online. It could be in person and online. Okay, so you need to go in and actually pass the test, right? Then you need to submit, you need to apply your license to your state. And I know that every state has a different fees, right? But like I said, you need to go into the Department of Insurance to make sure to check up on all of that. And if you don't know it, I'm pretty sure the person who actually helped you come into this business will help you, okay? And this is, give me 1 second. This is it. All right, now, yes, we do to have license to have commission legally, but it's not the first thing that you should do, okay? You need to test the waters, right? If you have not drank the water, you cannot tell other people to drink it for you, and they will not drink it. How do we do that? Number 1, PFC. To do your own personal financial checkup. But do you do it on your own? Crisala says it's like doing eye surgery on yourself. You can't do that. You need to sit down with a person who is well experienced to do your personal financial checkup. Okay. Number 2, you need to test the waters. How do we do that? On a field training. You need to be out on the field to see how your people react, how they absorb, how they intake all the information. You need to test the waters. Make sure it is good. What we do is good. We're helping a lot of people, right? You have to do that in order to, right, make sure get yourself ready. While you're doing that during the daytime and nighttime, you study for your license. Does that make sense? And does it take a year or 2 or 3 years to become a small agency owner? No. How many days did I say, if you concentrate, you're going to get to the small agency owner? 90 days.
90.
Yes, 90 days, right? So first thing you got to do, test the waters, right? By doing your own PFC, go on the field training with your trainer, right? Then you study for the license at night and you focus. And make sure that it is our people business. We are in the people business, okay? So change your mentality to I don't to I do, okay? Thank you, everybody. I know it's late in the East Coast. I'm sure people from the West Coast, maybe it's dinner time for you guys, but people in the East Coast, it is past 9. I appreciate, thank you to our Mr. Crisala and Helena, if you're still on the call. I thank you guys very much. And everybody, thank you for joining and have a good night.
Thanks, Lisa FD. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helena.
Thank you.
and
Have a good
Chris
night.
and
Guys,